Hello everyone and welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. I'm Rea. So I want to talk about this Breonna Taylor's situation because I am as disappointed as everyone else and deeply hurt, and it's very, very heartbreaking, you know, what's happening in the US and the way the system works against black people. Personally, I just can't understand it, but I've been trying to follow it over the time. I've been following it because I've been seeing it on social media. Celebs have posted about it. Everyone has talked about it with a hashtag to arrest the policeman who killed Breonna Taylor. So when this grand jury decided that actually these policemen are not going to be convicted of any charges, it is... I don't even understand really how the justice system in the US works. You guys can help me understand in the comment section, but personally, it beats my understanding. Like, how do you walk into someone's home? You're not wearing uniform. You don't walk. You don't knock on the door. You just enter. They are not armed. Breonna wasn't armed. Okay, maybe the boyfriend shot, but then they shot her 6 times, you know? An unarmed woman, and you shoot them like that. And then at the end of this whole period of waiting, the grand jury decides that that act is justified because these policemen were defending themselves after entering into someone's home without even knocking, and it is justified and they won't face any charges. But when I was looking at this story, I came across some statistics that just blew my mind, and I'm going to share with you guys. I believe they are from the Washington Post. They say that since 2015, there have been 5,652 police shootings in the US. Those are the figures. And of these, 249 were women. But the most part where the problem is that blacks are killed at more than twice the rate of whites. So meaning black people are usually targeted by the police. Let me use that word, targeted by the police, you know. So this makes you wonder, why is it that when it is a black person, the police is quick to shoot at them, you know, just because they are black? For some reason, the police is quick to shoot at them, and when they are white, then they can be lenient, you know, and take their time and try to understand. But a black person, they just shoot at you, you know, like why are black people still going through this, you know, in the US? But when I was trying to understand, because I'm really failing to understand how this is even possible, the history of the police mentioned that police started as slave patrols and night watchers during the slave period, you know, when there was still slavery in the US. That's where the police stemmed, you know, when I was reading and trying to understand, that's where the police stemmed. So this implies that police came from a place where they were controlling the slaves, you know. If there were slave watchers, you know, trying to control them and watch over them. So those later became the modern day police that we do have currently. So police has carried on that, I don't know, I should say ingredient. They have carried it on. That seed is still there till today. And that's why they do look at black people as a target, I should say, because they still think of, we are supposed to control them. They have to keep being oppressed by the police. That is the only reason, you know, that I can get for the way the police, what the police does to black people openly in daylight, you know. That is the only way I can try to understand it. Because they just look at them as black people, as minorities, as slaves, as not good enough, you know. And I also think they carry this on into their trainings. I believe the system in the police, that's how it's trained. Because when the general attorney, this black man called Cameroon, I believe he's called Cameroon David, when he was doing his statement, he said something like, the criminal law is not meant to respond to every sorrow and grief. So whatever the criminal law in the US is, it just doesn't care the way it was designed. I believe some of these laws were designed even when slavery was still very legal and black people were still under oppression as slaves. So I think it is quite a tough problem, you know, that the black people you guys have to deal with in the US, because it is ingrained in the law, like it's there, it's deep down, it's enrooted. But to make matters even worse, I think it's also into people's hearts, you know. Some people, they'll just look at you by the color of your skin and they don't like you and they hate you. And that's very difficult to fight. I like that people are protesting, you know, and they're still saying, you know what, no matter what, we are going to keep protesting and protesting until we see something, until we see Breonna Taylor get some justice, you know. So I don't even understand how this general attorney, a black man, stands in front of people and says, these white men, these cops who found this lady in her home, sleeping in her bed and shot her, are justified. They did not commit any crime. And then they want to say, we are going to charge them for maybe shooting at the neighbors, they distracted the neighbors, or they caused some harm to the neighbors. But you don't want to charge them for killing a woman, you know, an innocent woman, because they didn't find any drugs in her apartment, according to the story, according to the investigation. So clearly, the system is designed to keep black people oppressed, you know. That's how the system is designed. That's how it is. It is in the law, openly. And this is a black man standing and telling the entire world, these two white men are justified. I don't even know how. It's just crazy. I don't understand it. I don't know how black people, you guys survive in the US and deal with life day to day, you know. If you have to face this kind of injustices every day, it must be very tiring, you know. I don't know this. I just can't imagine it. But then there is something else I came across. This cop, one of the cops called Mattingly, I believe he's the one who shot the shot that killed Breonna. He wrote an email to the colleagues. I came about this online. I'll just put the email here. But it says, you do not deserve to be in this position, the position that allows thugs to get in your face and yell, curse and degrade you, throw bricks, bottles and urine on you, and expect you to do nothing. So he's talking about the protesting. So he feels when people shout at you and throw bottles at you, like that's something. We are being killed as the black people, but he feels if they throw bottles at you and yell at you, like that's huge, you know, like you can't even compare the two. He goes on to say, I know we did the legal, moral, and ethical thing that night. This is the man who shot Breonna Taylor. This is an email that he wrote to the colleagues. I know we did the legal, moral, and ethical thing that night. He's justifying his act of killing a woman, you can imagine. It's sad how the good guys get demonized and the criminals are canonized. Wow. So if he writes such an email and you know you did wrong, I don't even know if he has a conscience, how he's going to live with this for the rest of his life. Because people right now are against the police. You know, they don't believe in the police. They don't trust the police. So how does he even write such an email, you know? How does he do that? How does he even want to go out there and be a free man after shooting a woman and killing them, an innocent woman? I really don't know. It's just a very sad really, and I do not know what the solution here is, you know. Will protesting help change the law? There is a bill, I believe, called Breonna's law, where they are suggesting that, you know, that should ban no-knock warrants, which is a good thing. At least knock, you know, wear uniform. So black people, yes, are a minority in the US. They are a smaller percentage of the whites. They come from a place of slavery. So unfortunately, you know, the system is still designed to oppress you guys, you know, and keep you where you are as slaves, where you're coming from. So is this a war that is going to be won? I think that's the big question. Are the laws going to be changed, to favor black people? Or okay, not even to favor, but to have the same equal treatment, I should say equal treatment. Is the system going to be adjusted in one way or another? I really don't know. But this is very sad. I hope that the more people protest, I hope she can just get justice. I hope the family can get justice and the black community, because this is more than a slap in the face of showing you know what? If it was a white lady that was killed, trust me, these cops would be in jail, it wouldn't even take a second. But just because she's a black person, the entire US, all the cities have to fast riot for months and months and months. The Attorney General says the FBI is still investigating. I don't know what they would be investigating by now, because this is an event that happened in March. We are in September, so I really don't know. It's quite sad, really. I do not know much about the US system and how things work. I'm not very much enlightened about that, but it's just heartbreaking and really sad. I hope she gets justice. I hope people don't stop, pushing for justice for her, because very, very many people, blacks, just even these normal videos that you watch of Karens, doing all sorts of things to black people, it's just the hate within the people's hearts. That's how I see it. I don't know how like whites raise their kids, or what they teach their kids, or what the white system teaches against black people, because I just believe some people just have hate for the other people based on their skin color, and that's very challenging to fight, because that's what is inside someone's heart. So you don't know how they're going to react to you just by looking at you. So this is quite a difficult struggle, but I pray she gets justice in one way or another. Share your thoughts in the comment section. And yeah, I've seen some brothers and sisters who are like, you know what, we are tired of this racial injustice in the US. We are tired of this BS. We are coming back to Africa. I've seen a few of them. I've chatted with a few of them. Well, in Africa, we might not be the most developed or have the coolest and all the fancy life, but trust me, you won't face these racial injustices. It will not be there. So if you ever want to come to visit Uganda, feel free to send me an email. I'll gladly help. If you want to come to Africa, Africa is free and open. Definitely, you're very welcome. Even if it's just a visit and get away from all this, I don't know, just change of environment, really. Check out my YouTube channel called Hot Stories UG, my Instagram and Twitter. All the links are on top of the comment section, and see you on the next story. Bye.